Production vehicles have found new peaks in the modern age, be it the supercars or the superbikes or everything in between. Most all of us can find something that fulfills our interest available for purchase. But for the true enthusiasts, this isn't the case. Just any old vehicle off the lot isn't enough for these gearheads. And that exactly has led to modifications of the kind which transform the vehicles into true feats of power on wheels. Let's take a look at the most insane modifications in vehicles today. Number 10. Underground Racing Huracan URX. Starting with the factory-fresh Lamborghini Huracan LP6104, finished in Verde Mantis with a 2-ton green and black interior, the underground racing team installed their X version turbo system in this beast, which included custom-made precision turbo turbochargers, a Proline Racing built Huracan X version long block, a stunning Belay UR CNC Huracan intake manifold, and a Belay first 6-air shifted sequential transmission with a Belay differential. John Reed Racing created a unique Motec M1 harness and programming to allow full direct injection control, gearbox control, traction control, and the original LP6104 front differential control arrangements. The new wheels on this bright green Lamborghini Huracan were manufactured to order by HRE, and with a power output of over 2,000 horsepower, this is likely the fastest Huracan in the world right now. Number 9. Insanity Jet Car. Even the basic spec sheet for this jet car is bonkers enough. Many cars of this type use a single turbine engine, but the Canadian designer Ryan McQueen felt that 2 Rolls-Royce jet engine units were required for this particular model. Unsurprisingly, a lot of work and money went into creating this car, which is appropriately dubbed Insanity. The overall production time was 12 years, with 7 of those dedicated to creating the chassis and bodywork, and the total build cost was reputedly around 90,000 Canadian dollars. It also appears that money was tight at some points of production, as the only way McQueen could bid on the 2 Rolls-Royce engines at auction was to sell his Chevrolet Corvettes. Now that's dedication. Overall, what McQueen has achieved here is nothing short of astounding. After all, it's not every day that you come across a 400-mile-per-hour plus jet car built in someone's garage, and it's even rarer to come across such a venture being brought about by someone in their own, with no actual prior experience building a car of this scale. Mr. McQueen, we sincerely salute you. Number 8. Lamborghini Countach Twin Turbo. In 1982, Max Bobnar, a Swiss-based Lamborghini distributor, had the brilliant idea that his 1980 Countach LP400S wasn't fast enough. So he had Franz Albert install 2 turbochargers on the V12 engine, resulting in the Countach LP400S Turbo. This car would become a serious beast on the open road. The 2 EF60 turbos would effectively double the horsepower of the stock V12 engine, from 375 horsepower to around 750 horsepower at 6,500 RPM at a maximum boost of 1.5 bar. The speedometer was adjusted to go all the way up to 425 kilometers per hour, and acceleration statistics of 3.68 seconds for 0 to 100 kilometers per hour and 11.54 seconds for 0 to 200 kilometers per hour were achieved. This would effectively be the fastest car in the world for many years to come. Number 7. Guards Red 1969 Camaro. Brad Gray is a quiet, mild-mannered man who lets his cars do the talking. And a quick glance at his Camaro reveals how much he enjoys forced induction. A 468 Ci big block sits between the reinforced frame rails, powered by high-tech internals such as eagle rods, scat crank, JE pistons, and CFE racing heads. The induction system, on the other hand, attracts enthusiasts like a magnet. A Littlefield 1471 blower and 2 Precision 68mm turbos have been carefully engineered to complement each other. Tracing the complicated path of the air-fuel mixture also reveals some serious engineering talent. Despite being built 20 years ago, the Guards Red Camaro is powerful enough to win trophies even today. The twin wheelie bars on the car work, but the Simpson drag chute is only for show, as Brad does not take his prized car racing and does not plan to anytime soon. Number 6. 1965 Chevrolet C10. Brad Gray's second vehicle in the mix is a silver 1965 Chevrolet C10 truck that he built 10 years ago and drives on a regular basis. He received the truck in a trade, getting only the cab, one door, the frame, and the bed. He sourced the rest, then reinforced the chassis by welding a 1982 Chevy front clip with disc brakes and a 9-inch Ford with coilovers. The chassis was strengthened with additional cross members to ensure it could withstand the intended load. Once again, it's the engine's forced induction system that draws a crowd. The built 355 Ci Smart Block features polished and anodized aluminum inner fender panels and a pair of Bowers 671 superchargers joined together. While the engine is the star of the show, as is typical of Brad's builds, the attention to detail is incredible. Large tubs in the back house the 31 by 18.5 Mickey Thompson wires, which allude to the truck's power. The bed houses a fuel cell and a nitrous bottle, as well as separate fuel systems for the engine and the nitrous. Brad truly travels against the pack when on the road. Number 5. Mansory Carbonado GT. Carbon fiber, an ultralight and high-strength material, is used extensively on this Mansory bespoke car. But it's not just the design of this Aventador that makes it stand out. Mansory thoroughly rebuilt the 6.5-liter V12 cylinder and installed 2 of their branded turbochargers. Furthermore, the pistons, connecting rods, rod bearings, crankshaft, crank, and cylinder head have been replaced with motor racing parts to suit Countach Mansory's high standards. Together with the newly designed exhaust system from the manifold to the stainless steel tailpipes, which provide improved performance. Instead of 700 horsepower, 515 kilowatts, the Carbonado GT produces 1,600 horsepower, 1,176 kilowatts, with a maximum electronically limited torque of 1,200 Newton meters. Number 4. One true turbine-powered Batmobile. If you understand basic physics, you'll realize that the coveted Batmobile can't be turbine-powered because there's a cockpit where a large portion of the engine would have to be. As a result, traditional piston engines have powered the majority of the movie cars and tribute builds. But there is one person who wanted to see the turbine-powered fantasy become a reality. Casey Putch, an engineer, decided to build his own Batmobile and ensured that it was turbine-powered. It wasn't easy, of course. Putch began with a bare shell and found a stretched C4 generation Corvette to serve as the frame. He bought the 20,000 RPM 400 horsepower turboshaft engine off eBay, which had previously powered a drone anti-submarine helicopter. He connected it to a torque converter 4-speed automatic transmission, which drives the rear wheels via a custom drive shaft. As you might expect, it sounds pretty wild. Putch even had the car registered for the road and installed air suspension to raise and lower the nose to protect the massive overhang. Inside, there's room for 2 people and plenty of high-tech equipment to keep things running smoothly. While it isn't propelled by the engine's sheer thrust, it is the only true turbine-powered Batmobile in the world, and we truly believe it does the design justice. Number 3. Lancia ECV. The ECV was a prototype for the World Rally Championships Group S class, which was scheduled to replace Group B in 1987. It was a development of the Delta S4 introduced by Lancia in the final round of the 1985 season. One of the things admired about the ECV is that Lancia didn't abandon the project as soon as they learned of Group S's demise, as you'd expect any ever-conservative automaker to do nowadays. Instead, it remained turned wrenches and tinkering, hoping that its inventions might find a home in the team's Group A rally program. This takes us to the ECV's most amazing feature, its engine. Group S standards sought to cut power in half compared to Group B, but that didn't stop Lancia from developing a crazy ambitious 1.8-liter twin-turbo inline 4 fitted to totally replace the S4's twin-charged motor. It was known as the Triflux. At low engine speeds, only one turbocharger was active. The second spooled up to provide extra power higher in the rev range. Lancia estimated the Triflux inline output force at 470 kilowatts, or around 600 horsepower, and claimed to have manufactured 5 units only. Number 2. Hennessey Performance Huracan Twin Turbo HPE 1000. Hennessey Performance understands how to make fast cars go even faster. We are well aware of this. But recently, Hennessey went entirely off the rails by converting a Lamborghini Huracan supercar into a full-fledged hypercar by increasing its already outstanding 600 horsepower to 1,000 with their customized HPE 1000 twin turbo. They basically ripped the back of the car apart to install custom twin ball-bearing turbochargers, an oil pump, an oil tank, an intercooler tank and pump, dual intercooler heat exchangers, dual inlet pipes, dual blow valves, stainless steel turbo downpipes, a stainless steel exhaust system with thermal coating, and a high-flow air induction system. Not that much, really. Number 1. Twin supercharged 1970 Judge Pontiac GTO. Bill purchased a Judge 1970 Pontiac GTO that had been sitting in a barn for some time. It started out with a 406 Pontiac with a BDS 671 blower, but after a few cruises, he decided to up the ante and build a 455-based 474 cubic inch engine in 2004. Oh, and Bill also installed one more thing: a second BDS blower on the top of the existing one in the Judge's chambers. This was added later after the car had to be rebuilt due to an accident. But doing this, Bill truly defied what other companies said was mechanically impossible by installing an 871 blower on top of the 671. To many, that's excessive and unnecessary, but the configuration is not unheard of. But we like to think of it this way: if Bill hadn't done it with his GTO, we'd truly be wishing someone else had. Alright, which of these insane vehicles would tickle your fancy if you could buy one? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to TechJoint, and we'll see you in the next one.